What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily, coming at you 11 o'clock today because we got a noon college football kickoff, but that is not all we have. We have a monster day of racing at Santa Anita, a monster day of racing at Royal Aqueduct, and a monster day of racing at Churchill as well. Multiple grade ones, couple grade twos. It is a phenomenal day all across the board, but we're going to kick it off here with Papa Dude. Papa Dude, welcome back from Colorado. How was the trip?
Fantastic trip. It's always great. If you've never been to Estes Park, go. It's a fantastic, if you like scenery, it's a fantastic place to go.
Colorado got to be one of the more beautiful states in the U.S. I mean, there's just some awesome scenic views, killer snowboarding and skiing if you're into that. And they got some good food there as well now, too. All right, yeah. Papa, dude, tell us, storyline of the day, college football. We got a monster day today. What is the biggest storyline you got?
Well, I don't know if I got a big one. I think the storyline of the day, Aaron hit it last night on the show. We don't have any just giant games, I don't think, but there are a ton of fantastic games. I think the storyline of the day is we're going to start separation, a little bit of separation between the really good teams that have a shot and the ones who think they have a shot. We eliminated one last night. You know, Washington, not near as good as people think they are. And I hit that game last night. I'm not a Michael Penix fan. A lot of people are. I'm not. I've never seen him win a big game. So I went to bed at the half because I was wore out and I was so pissed at UCLA in the first half. They should have had a lot more points than what they had. And I wanted to kick the coach's butt when he didn't kick a field goal and it was 26-10. Fourth and one, he went with, I don't know if you guys were watching it, probably not, but he should have kicked the field goal to make it 29-10. They didn't do it. I thought at the half, we're going to lose this game. And I fully thought I'd wake up this morning and we lost it. So I don't think we eliminated Washington. So I'm going here. I'm rambling. All right, let's run down. I've got the 5 games checked here that I think are really interesting to watch today. I can't wait to get started. This is my heaven. Kentucky and Mississippi. We'll talk about it in length later. Huge game in the SEC.
That's one of the best game.
Yeah, another big game in the USC is Alabama and Arkansas. I think Alabama wins that, but still it's interesting. And the third one is A&M is at Mississippi State, and we're going to find out what A&M is. They could get eliminated from this picture. One more loss and they're done. So that's a big day in the SEC. 2 huge games in the ACC. Okay, we got Clemson and North Carolina State. All right, is North Carolina State as good as Clemson? We're going to find out today. Do they join Clemson as an elite team in the ACC?
Well, let's pause right there for a second. Yeah. That game is a 7-point spread. You're catching 7 with NC State in Clemson. We saw Clemson struggle last week against Wake Forest, specifically through the air. Yeah. Seems like that may be a similar issue here. NC State has a not as impressive air attack, but a very good air attack as well. Mm-hmm. 7 seems like a lot of points in that game. No one used that as their best bet. I actually looked at that for a while, NC State plus 7. Did either of you consider that game?
Oh, sure. And the difference between North Carolina State and Wake Forest is North Carolina State has some defense. Wake Forest doesn't. Clemson, I don't think is going to go up and down the field on North Carolina State like they did Wake. I think NC State has a big chance in this one. The reason I didn't pick them, and I never do this in college football until they're proven, can they go into Clemson and win? They never do, and they got to prove it to me. Now, the 7 points, that's a lot of points. So if you want to bet that, that's a good bet, I think. The other big one in the ACC, we're going to find out, what's Florida State?
Yeah.
They're undefeated. They got Wake Forest today. The deal here is, can Wake Forest get back up after having a great chance to beat Clemson last week?
And what is the total in that game? I didn't even realize those two were playing today.
64 is the now it may be different now. That's what it was yesterday. So
I'm looking it up real quick here as you guys talk.
If you say Wake Forest is playing Florida State and over just pops into my head immediately.
Yeah,
exactly.
67 now.
It's gone way up.
Yeah.
It is. We don't know how good Florida State is. I think they're pretty good and they're getting more confidence, but this line, is kind of, what is it now, Aaron?
Let's see. The line now on that one is Florida State minus 6.5.
That's a lot of points. So that's an interesting one. And then there's a huge game in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Baylor is at home against Oklahoma State, and I think that might be a best bet here, so I'm not going to get into it much. That is a monster game. The winner of that's going to have the edge in the Big 12. So we got games all over the place today. It's going to be a good day.
And anyone who's kind of getting into sports betting, you haven't fully understood, like when we talk about, the line moved this way or that way, a great way to check out lines. If you go to VSiN, you can go to their odds page. If you go to VSiN's college football odds page, it automatically updates every Vegas books line, both total and side, and it'll tell you how soon it's changed. So if it's changing right now, it'll be a red box. If it's changed the last 5 minutes, a yellow box, the last 10 minutes, a green box. Really cool to watch that on a game day like this in this last hour. You're going to see a lot of colors changing and adjusting. It kind of tells you, hey, if you're trying to get a certain number, now is the time to go after it. And it tells you where the momentum is going as well on these games as we get up to kickoff. Papa Dude, love the preview. It's going to be an awesome day on the college football side. We got a lot of really interesting games, like you said. No games that are your Georgia, Alabamas, but definitely games that are going to test some different teams and give us a better idea of what to expect moving forward. All right, we're going to jump into horse previews here for a second before we get into the best bets. And we'll start off at Churchill Downs, the Lucas Classic, Grade 2, 1 1/8 miles. Got a lot of these classic horses, so we're going to cover 3 of these races. My best bet is going to come from Aqueduct's race, so we're not going to talk about that right away. I really hate this Belmont at Aqueduct thing, if you can't tell already.
It's almost over.
It's so brutal, man. Let's get Keeneland going. So the Lucas Classic, Grade 2 here. It's interesting race. We got Art Collector, Happy Saver, Rich Strike, Hot Rod Charlie, all here in this spot. I'm not sure any of these can actually compete in the Breeders' Cup Classic, but this is at least an interesting spot to kind of see who is the best of this second tier. Wouldn't you agree, Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. You might get a horse finish third out of this race. That's the big key, and because that's kind of what they do with talking about Happy Saver, talking about a horse like Hot Rod Charlie. Very interesting race. Papa Dude hit the nail on the head from the minute the games start till they end. They're great games tonight. That's kind of what we have in horse racing too. 3 tracks plus Prairie Meadows has their Iowa bred day, which is big for me personally and my buddies. So. And the same kind of thing. We don't have like the massive showdowns, but man, top to bottom, these cards are great today for racing. This race specifically, it's going to be really interesting to see who actually comes up and wins this race. You have Rich Strike in the race as well, returning to Churchill Downs, of course, the scene of his big victory. I win Hot Rod Charlie in this spot. I realize he has trouble winning, but look, he looks like the class of the field to me. I think he's got a shot to get out in front of everybody today. I think he's faster than everybody else in this race. I know our Collector has speed. I think Hot Rod Charlie is faster if they ask him. And I think that's the key. He needs to turn for home with the lead. We've seen him. He loves to battle down the stretch. If you like to battle where it's a good place to be, in front of all the other horses. So Hot Rod Charlie for me in the Lucas Classic. I think he's going to get the lead today.
I cannot tell you how much I want Rich Strike to win this race. I want Rich Strike to win this race so badly because then he's going to get bet in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Like, I really hope that somehow Rich Strike wins this race and takes money. I think the key, you hit the nail on the head, is who gets the lead. Our Collector's got Saez aboard today. I think Saez is going to be aggressive. And if Saez can beat Hot Rod Charlie that first turn, I think our Collector is all of a sudden very difficult in this spot. Happy Saver is a little bit interesting to me too because Happy Saver did beat Hot Rod Charlie last time. But this is one of those races where I don't really love anyone, and it's tough to really, in my mind, unless you have a big opinion here, which if you do, it's a great race to have one because it's a lot of horses that are going to be around that 2-1 level. You don't want to go 3 deep in this spot and play Happy Saver, Art Collector, and Hot Rod Charlie. That's suicide in multi-race tickets. So you kind of have to figure out, hey, who am I going to lean on here? I would probably lean on Art Collector, but I wouldn't feel great about it. I think this is a pretty tough race, and it's one of those spots where I'm going to enjoy watching it to kind of see what I can glean from it for the Breeders' Cup Classic, but I can't find a way to make a ton of money based on my own opinion off it.
Well, let me ask you this. You talked about Rich Strike, and we talked about On Blinkers Off. We would have been shocked, you and I both, if he won the Belmont or the Travers. Like, fall over dead shocked, right?
Yep.
I'm not that way today. He is matched up against horses that do not like to win. And to me, him getting back at Churchill, if Art Collector and Hot Rod hook up, the pace might speed up. I'm not going to be shocked if Rich Strike wins this race. I think it's a good spot for him.
I agree. I mean, this is odd to say, but I think this older group specifically is worse than the 3-year-olds that he's been facing, right? I mean, Mo Donegal, a Nest even. I mean, like, what would Epicenter be in this race?
The favorite, for
pretty
sure.
heavy favorite, right?
Yep.
And that's when you look at that, it's like, okay, well, he ran pretty well against Epicenter last time. Cyberknife probably be the favorite in this spot, right? So you look at some of these horses and you say, okay, this is a softer spot, which is ironic to say since he's facing Olders for the first time, but it's a softer spot here for Rich Strike. And like you hit the nail on the head too. If they hook up, he's the one who benefits from that. I mean, because Happy Saver is going to sit a little bit closer, but he's going to sit a little farther back and get a real run on these horses. So be interesting to see what happens at Churchill. Like I said, I'm going to play a pick 5 through this, but I'm probably not going to play a big one, and I'm probably not going to go crazy with it. I'm probably going to single Art Collector because I don't want to play Art Collector, Happy Saver, and Hot Rod Charlie in this spot.
Yeah.
Can't
Do
blame
we,
you.
do we bury Rich Strike after this one if he doesn't win? Do we bury him?
Depends on how he runs. I mean, here's the deal. I buried him after the Belmont.
I buried him after the Derby.
Well, fair.
I know you did, Mike.
as a guy who's never been a fan of him, I will readily admit I thought he ran well in the Travers.
Yeah, I was impressed with his Travers. His Travers actually validated his Derby in a lot of ways, where it's not a complete fluke. It's like, okay, we ran well. And this comparison has come up quite a bit. Mind That Bird and Rich Strike. Mind That Bird ran very well in the Preakness, very well in the Belmont. It's like Mind That Bird could have been going for a Triple Crown. I don't think people realize that, how well he ran in the Preakness a couple weeks later. That was my main knock on that comparison. But after the Travers, it's a little bit more validated in my mind because you have multiple races now from Rich Strike that you can point to. Still a kooky horse, still can't run from off the rail, which is kind of crazy to me when you're this deep into your 3-year-old campaign. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let's head over to Santa Anita to talk about the Grade 1 Awesome Again. A 7-horse field, or 8-horse field, I'm sorry, really deep here too. Again, a nice field of 8 that I don't think there's a slam dunk horse that you can go to. Your favorite's going to be the 4-horse Country Grammar, but Country Grammar's lost to Royal Ship. Country Grammar's lost to Express Train. I mean, there's horses in here that's beaten Country Grammar, specifically at Santa Anita at this distance. Aaron, where'd you go on top here? I thought this was a tough race.
I think it's a tough race as well. I think it's going to be between Royal Ship and Country Grammar. We've kind of seen these two battle it out at Santa Anita a couple times in the past. They had really battle, like great stretch battles from these two horses. To me, Papa Dude, you asked about Rich Strike, and do we bury him? I think we bury Country Grammar if he doesn't win in this spot. I really think he needs to win, right? He's expected to win. He needs this one to kind of get back on track and get into the Breeders' Cup Classic. If no Flightline's there with a chance, if Flightline is there, he doesn't really have a shot. But he's an interesting one because if Flightline wasn't in the Pacific Classic, Country Grammar beat the other horses in that race by like 7 lengths.
Yep.
He's probably like 1-9 today, if that's the case, if he's a 7-length winner of the Pacific Classic. So he should beat these horses. He should bounce back. 1.25 miles is perfect for him. This is 1 1/8 miles. I still think that's okay for him. Anything shorter, I start to worry. I'm going to go Country Grammar on top. I'm with you, though. It's not just a complete slam dunk like you would think it would be.
It's funny how 2 races later you already forget he beat Life is Good, right? I mean, it's already kind of brushed under the table after getting dusted by Flightline last time out and losing the previous race as well. So back-to-back seconds since coming over here. He has to win this race if he wants to really cement himself in that Breeders' Cup conversation. I thought it was interesting you have 4 Bafferts in here. That rarely do you see this many Bafferts when you have a horse like Country Grammar who's going to be the favorite. Generally, he doesn't go crazy like that. Azul Coast is actually a little interesting to me on the rail at 20-1 coming back off a monster layoff in this spot. I'm going to be really interested to see the scratches here. Why do you think Baffert's got 4 in this spot?
I have no idea. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't wait to see the scratches, see if he actually runs them all. Was it kind of a favor to the racing office? Hey, I'll throw some in there so we don't have a 5-horse field or whatever. I'm not sure. We've seen him in the past enter some multiple horses and maybe try to screw with one of the other horses that could beat his main one. So that could be the case as well. It'll be interesting to see, like I said, who actually runs in this one. You look at the entries. To me, the other 3 that he's entered are kind of over their heads a little bit. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either.
Well, that's why I gravitate toward Azul Coast. I mean, the other, like High Connection, no interest there. I mean, Defunded, no interest there. They also weren't as touted as Azul Coast was originally. And so I'm interested to see if Azul Costa ends up in this race, because 20-1 is a big number on a horse that had a ton of hype early in his career, was not able to live up to that. But then to come back in this spot is just wild to me after such long a layoff. So we'll see what happens there. I'm on Country Grammar as well. I like Express Train a little bit for the place money. I might play a 4-7 Cold Exact to see if we can get that puppy home. Let's head over to Aqueduct. We'll cover one more race before getting into the best bets. That's going to be the 10th race on the card, because I'm going to go to the 7th as my best bet. We'll talk about the Champagne Stakes over at Aqueduct. I think this is the most fun race of the day. I'm not going to lie. This is a 6-horse field. Any of them could win. I would not be surprised if any of these horses are able to get the job done. You've got the 3-horse Verifying Your Favorite, $775,000 son of Justify out of the Brad Cox barn that looked very good, but that race hasn't come back wonderful. So we'll see how good that race actually was. You got the 6 Gulfport, who phenomenal in 2 Churchill starts, and then just a screwy wide from Joel Rosario, blows the turn with Pratt aboard the last 2. Are you using either of these on top? You're going to go to the 1 on Andiamo Firenze, or you're going to go to the 2 Top Recruit? I mean, this is a great betting race.
Yeah, I'm going to try to beat Verifying and Gulfport both. I'm going to go number 2 Top Recruit on top. Gulfport, for me, I can't trust him. I think he's talented, but he's an idiot. He may put it all together today, but that last time out was just brutal. Verifying, I'd like to see what that horse does second out. Going to have to improve. So I'm going to take a shot with number 2 Top Recruit, a horse that is improving. All 3 starts have been better than the last, especially last time out. Went to Ellis Park on August 14th, won the Ellis Park Juvenile, beat Curly Jack. Curly Jack came back to win the Iroquois. So that's a good sign as well. Also a great sign, Mike Baker ships the horse up here. And guess who jumps aboard? Irad Ortiz Jr. I thought that was very interesting. And a big reason why I jumped off the 1, right? Irad rode the 1 to a 5-length victory last time out, and now he's on the 2. And then Jose Ortiz rode the horse 2 back, and he's on the 6. So I'm totally against the 1 in this spot. Anyway, Top Recruit 5-1. Hope we get that.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head for me. The fact that the Andiamo Firenze lost not one but both Ortiz brothers tells you just how much they think of that horse. I am going to go with the 6 Gulfport on top. I think Gulfport is the most talented horse. He's a head case, but he is the most talented. I really like Blazing Sevens in this spot too. The 5 horse, you're getting 8-1. Flavian Pratt aboard. I talk about this all the time in these races. Sometimes horses can't pass each other, and you got tons of speed. Guess what? We have 5 horses that want to go, and 1 that wants to pass horses. Blazing Sevens, your only closer. If Blazing Sevens runs back to the maiden special weight win and improves just a little bit, this horse with Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt's going to go off at 10-1 and win the race. Like it's crazy that you're going to get that kind of price on these kind of connections in a 6-horse field where you have a pace advantage. So I like the 6 Gulfport on top, but I will be using the 5 Blazing Sevens in all of my exotics, all of my multis, and I would probably be my tournament horse out of the spot as well.
Oh man, Blazing Sevens definitely should get the pace set up. I mean, my goodness, it looks fast up front. So we'll see. I don't know, man. That Gulfport, I'm waiting for him. He needs to do it today.
Kevin coming in saying it's muddy. That actually may change a little bit in my opinion as well. The slop did not, Blazing Sevens didn't handle it very well yesterday. So we have not looked at the updated changes. I can tell you that because we're doing a live show right now. But once we see those and come across, you may see some adjustments there. But it's going to be a lot of fun there in the Champagne. All right, let's get to the best bets. We're already 18 minutes into a 15-minute show. Might as well get that part of it going. All right. We kind of we hinted at this a little bit. Actually, we'll kick off with Magic's here. Magic headed back to the CFL. He's going to go on the under train here with Toronto and Calgary. Toronto last week produced 45 points, but that was off 6 turnovers. Calgary, a significantly better team with a significantly better defense. He thinks they're going to be able to slow Toronto down and keep this game under 52.5. So I have to root for none of those 1-point scores there to keep this thing low. All right, we're going to go over to college football. Papa, dude, you kind of teased this. You talked a little bit about this Baylor game, and you like this Baylor team. Tell us more about it.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's fine.
That's Aaron.
Oh, that's killing me. All right.
All right. That's fine. Aaron, you kick it off.
You want me to kick it off while you change that Somich?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'll just change this over. Give me a second.
All right. I'll kick it off with the Baylor-Oklahoma State game. I'm going Baylor minus 2.5. Look, there's a couple big reasons. Number one, I think Vegas has kind of undervalued Baylor this year. Papa Dude cashed in on Baylor last week. They were an underdog on the road against Iowa State. I couldn't believe that. So this week, they are a favorite, 2.5-point favorite, hosting the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Look, these two squared off in the Big 12 championship game last year. Baylor got it done. I think Baylor is just as good this year. I think Oklahoma State has a little bit of question mark on the defensive side of thing. I love that this game's at home for Baylor. I love that it's only a 2.5-point spread. I think that makes total sense. The biggest thing, Baylor is battle tested, right? They've had tough games already. They played BYU on the road and lost in overtime, a game they should have or could have won. They went, like I said, on the road last week and beat a decent Iowa State team. Oklahoma State, this is their first kind of tough game, right? And they're also coming off of a bye. I don't usually love that. I think that could kind of ruin momentum sometimes. I don't know. I just feel like this is a good spot for Baylor. They're battle tested. They're ready. I think they're going to cover this 2.5. I think they'll win this one by 7 to 10 points.
Yeah, they looked pretty comfortable last week. That was a fairly easy cover for Baylor. Hopefully we can keep it rolling there. Papa, did you consider this game at all? Did you like Baylor today?
I do. I like them a lot. I think it's a good bet. I've got some others I like better, but this would definitely be in my top 6 or 7 for sure.
All right, Papa, tell us about one of those you like better.
All right.
Let's go to the SEC.
All right, I'm going to kind of pull a slim here and mention several. But anyway, I like 5 games a lot today. I'm going to go real quickly. First one, Michigan State's at Maryland. Now, I didn't check the odds today, so if I'm wrong on some of this. But they were 7.5 last night. Michigan State was 7.5 last night at Maryland. Again, and Maryland was I just think that's a lot of points. Mm-hmm. And so I like that one. Another one, Louisville is at Boston College. Now, this is a nothing game, but you make money on nothing games. It's just like you make money on something games. 14 points Boston College is given to Louisville. I think Louisville wins, but I don't know that Louisville's good to beat anybody by 14. So I like that game a lot. Here's one I cannot understand. Iowa State gets all kinds of respect for nothing. They go into undefeated Kansas today, and Kansas is the underdog. 3.5. That place is going to be rocking. I don't think Iowa State's that good. I don't think Kansas is either, but I think they win that game. So I like that one. And the one I'm going to take, this is what I don't understand. Kentucky is number 7. Mississippi is number 14. Okay, I can see Mississippi being favored by maybe 2, maybe 3, but they're 6. They're 6-point favorites. And they played nobody, and they haven't been very impressive, so we don't know anything about them. Kentucky went into the swamp and beat Florida, and we know Florida's decent. I like Kentucky +6. That's my best bet of the day. I think they might win this game straight out. I almost took the money line on them. So I'm going +6 with Kentucky today. I think they beat Mississippi.
I got good news for you, Papa, dude. You're getting +6.5 now. It's +6.5.
I like that better. Okay.
So get the hook with the key number of 6 as well, which is nice. The only line that changed that you mentioned, Boston College now laying 13.5 instead of laying the full 14. Everything else is still the same. I was surprised to see that Kansas line as well. Kansas can score the football. Yeah. They're not the best defense in the world, but they can score the football. Iowa State sometimes struggles scoring the football. Yeah. If Kansas puts up 35, I'm not sure how they don't cover +3.5 there. Yeah, you don't think Iowa State's putting up 45 here. I mean, that just seems like it's a little bit out of the question. So thank you for all those bets, Papa Dude. I like it. We're going to end up with a best bet of Kentucky +6.5. So that's what we'll grade for the show's purposes. All right, I'm going to head over to Aqueduct, and I'm going to play a try here in the Woodward Grade 1. Life is good. Real quick, I mean, we all think Life is good is going to just roll here, right? Gate to wire, no chance. So then it's how do we make money off Life is good? And that is the next question that you check. Look, Thomas Shelby is going to try and put pressure on. If Thomas Shelby goes 23-46, he's gone. So just throw out the 3. So now we have 3 horses left. It's the 2, it's the 4, it's the 5. Informative is coming off of a nice win at Monmouth, but career best buyer number of 97 and would need to replicate that to compete for the top 3. All right, so let's chuck the 5 out here. Let's get the 5 out. So now we're down to 2 horses. We got the 2 and the 4. Can we pick them in the right order? And if we can, I bet we get close to 6-1 on this bet. So I'm going to go with the 2 horse. I'm going to go with the 2 horse Law Professor in second. It's a son of Constitution, 4-year-old, second time out for the Atras barn, has good enough efforts on the dirt to get it done. And I like the fact that this horse is going to sit closer to Life is Good than the 4 horse Keep Me in Mind will. I don't think Keep Me in Mind is going to be able, you're going to see, it's going to be pretty easy, right? Life is Good is going to be first. Then you're going to see Thomas Shelby, then Law Professor, right? If Law Professor gets by Thomas Shelby, I don't think Keep Me in Mind can get to him. It gives you an easy 1-2-4 try. I think you're getting close to 6-1 on this. I think it's the best way to try and make money on this race. You can play a cold 1-2 exacta, but I don't think that's going to pay a ton. I'm worried it's going to pay like $2, to be honest. And I just don't want to play a cold exacta that's going to be that short. I do think it's pretty easy to eliminate 2 of these 5 horses. I do think it's pretty easy to try and figure out the order of the other 3. So give me the 1-2-4 try ice cold in the Woodward.
So Thomas Shelby did scratch out of the race. They just put the scratches up.
No. That means that there's no tries either, right?
That would be a 4-horse field. I would say no tries. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna have to adjust the best bet here.
Hold on. Let me confirm that real quick.
Well, that would kill the money too, right?
There's no show wagering. I don't know. It doesn't say no trifecta.
But you wouldn't get the money that you would have got.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see here. Miss Gorillo's the next race. I like the chalk. That's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to switch over. I'm going to take NC State plus the 7 points. I think they're going to be able to put up points against Clemson. So we're going to switch to NC State plus the 7. So I got to get a little writing action on the background. Really happy I went late here. So we're going to go NC State plus 7. I think they put up points today against Clemson. I think Clemson has a little bit of a hangover after beating Wake Forest. And I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson wins the game. I just think NC State plus 7 is too many points for them. I do like the Papa Dude Kansas bet as well, plus 3.5. I mean, that would be the other one that I would consider on the College board. But we'll go NC State plus 7 for the best bet there. All right, we've been on for a while here, so we're going to give you a quick recap of the bets, and we'll take it from there. Pulling it up. All right, here we go. The picks for the day. We're going to Papa Dude. He's going to take Kentucky plus 6. Aaron Baylor minus 2.5. Magic, Toronto, and Calgary under 52.5. I'm going to take I'm going to take NC State plus 7 instead of that try, since we are down to a 4-horse field there. It's got the scratches during the show. For the week, we are 5-6, down $155. For the year, we're up $2,459 off a $100 base bet unit. We'll be back tomorrow at noon for best bets across the NFL as well as the rest of the horse racing world. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you guys at the track. And I got to hit the little button. There we go.